There, guys, this is Michael Edinburgh with True Trading Group. Awesome day today. Once again, we pulled out over 30% gains in two trades, one of which turned into a swing trade that I'll get into the setup and I'll get into that trade in just a little while. But first, let's start with another crazy day for the shippers. We saw an absolute, probably the craziest trading day of the year in the shippers on Friday, with DCIX going from like $4 a share up to $20 a share, just an absolute monster. And I said on Friday, guys, that look for that volatility and for that trading action to roll over into Monday. I don't think after the day that the shippers had on Friday, I said we're probably going to see more on Monday, so be ready for it. Sure enough, today, November 6th, the shippers all gapped up huge. DCIX gapped up to just under 16 bucks and just took off right off the open and blew right through Friday's high of $20, going up to even going past, traded through $25 a share right off the open. It was nuts. But very quickly, within a few minutes of the market being open, we kind of had the winds taken out of our sails by halts, trading halts, DCIX, TOPS. They were just halting these stocks every couple minutes. It was very, very annoying and frustrating because I wasn't able to trade them in the morning when I was really looking for some opportunity off the open there. And just with the way that they kept on halting the stocks, I just wasn't comfortable taking a position until I started to see some more clean trading action. And, sure enough, about half hour, 45 minutes into the day, you started to get a little bit cleaner action. And the correlation trade paid us handsomely, guys. Go back and watch my other video on the correlation trade and the other blog post about the correlation trade, because it helped me make another profitable trade a little while ago, a couple weeks ago, in TOPS using DRYS as the leader. And today I made another profitable trade in TOPS using DCIX as the leader. Okay. Now let me take you to the chart and show you the trade that I was referring to. DCIX here I have in front of me. The trade I made was not in DCIX. It was in TOPS. But I used DCIX as the barometer and the trigger for my trade. And that's what the correlation trade is all about. It's identifying a leader. And then when that leader is excessively strong, looking for a move in the second tier stock in the same sector that tends to follow the leader. Okay, and how the stocks are correlated and how they tend to move together. So here's your previous high on Friday of DCIX around $20. After it spiked through $20, you saw how it tailed back down below it. But I kind of said that this tail was an outlier because this happened right after the stock reopened from being halted. So it printed down here all the way down at 1731, but within seconds was back above 20. Okay, so I said everyone in chat that that's kind of like an outlier. What I then liked was this test right here. This test, and then how the stock shot off and ended up holding again around $20, was when I started to feel confident that we might have a trade here in the shippers with DCIX holding above Friday's high. So it's Friday's high, you see the stock's consolidating above it. Then what I started to identify, let me delete those lines, was a wedge, a very nice bullish wedge pattern form in DCIX. Okay, there it is. And at this time, I said, okay, guys, I'm going to look to place a trade in TOPS, TOPS. Let's go to that chart. Okay, so here's TOPS. I'm going to look to place a trade in TOPS off of the DCIX trade. Now, why did I do that? Why not just trade DCIX? Well, guys, because I had a lot less risk trading TOPS using DCIX as my parameter. If I went and I chased DCIX and I went after DCIX and I tried to make a trade in the stock, it's, you're just going after the trade, versus if I went for TOPS, I can use a little bit of an indicator with DCIX. If DCIX goes and starts to run and breaks out, I'm going to look to go buy tops for that correlation trade. So what I said in DCIX was this bullish wedge pattern that you see form. I said, guys, if DCIX breaks out of this wedge pattern to the upside, like you see right here, I said I'm getting long tops, and I'm going to really sink my teeth into tops. I ended up buying a small piece in DCIX just because I wanted to be in the trade. But for all intents and purposes, when it comes to size, position size, I was in tops. Okay, I had a nice size position in tops. I had a very small position in DCIX. I just wanted to be in the trade. Then you see right here, just before 11 a.m., DCIX breaks out of this wedge pattern. That is when, at 10:56 a.m., long tops $1.43. Here it is, 10:56 a.m., long tops. This is the trade announcements from chat. Long tops, $1.43. Let's go to tops. There's my entry, guys. Right here at $1.43. Okay? And I said that, guys, if you see DCIX break up and out of that wedge, look for tops to try to make a push back to retest the high of the day. Let's go back to DCIX. There's your break out of the wedge. DCIX actually made a new high on the day. Let's go back to tops. And as tops started to push, I started taking profits. Go back to the announcements. Here it is, 11:08. Took some profit tops, $1.60 for a 12% still holding some. And then 11:15, taking more profit tops, $1.70, 19% gain, still holding 20% of my position. Now, what I did here, guys, after I sold that chunk at $1.70 for that 19% gain, I said, guys, if DCIX cannot hold above this previous morning high and continue higher, I'm going to get flat tops. Oh, I feel like I have to sneeze. I'm sorry. And I said, if DCIX flushes and just kind of breaks down, I'm just going to get flat tops because tops at the time was not as strong as DCIX. Tops never made a new high in the morning. Okay, it ended up making a new high in the afternoon, but for this trade in the morning, it never made a new high when DCIX did. So I said the first sign of weakness I see in DCIX, I'm getting flat tops. And that was the stock not being able to hold the previous morning high right here. And that is when I sold my final piece of tops at 11:43 a.m., which is right here, guys. Right here in DCIX, and then tops right here. Okay? And that's how you play the correlation trade. You buy the secondary stock once you see a breakout or strength in the leader, and then you sell the secondary stock at the first sign of weakness in the leader. Because if tops was at the high of the day and broke out and made a new high, just like DCIX did, I would have treated the trade a little differently. But the fact that tops was showing me some weakness in the sense that it was not making a new high when DCIX was, I said, okay, well, then the first sign of weakness I see in DCIX, I got to get out of tops because I think the pull in tops is going to be greater if DCIX starts to fall apart because tops is weaker. Okay, so if I'm trading tops off of DCIX because DCIX is strong, then if DCIX shows me a sign of weakness, I better get out of tops. And that's how you have to play the correlation trade, and that's exactly what I did today, and that's how I pulled out 19% in TOPS. Let's get to our second winning trade of the day. CIE. Thinly traded stock that we nailed perfectly. And why did I trade this stock? I'll show you guys. It popped up on my radar. Let me go back to 3 minutes. It popped up on my radar right here when this volume started coming into the stock. Okay, that's when I started looking at the stock. I said, let me check it out. Let me see what's going on here. And I'll take you out to a 15-minute chart. All right, here's a 15-minute. What I noticed on this was a very important pivot area of 65 cents. Okay, and I get that 65 cents from this support, and after it was broken to the downside, you can very clearly see the stock had serious trouble at 65 cents right here. Couldn't get back above it, sold off. Fast forward to today. Here is a high of the day right there at 60, right near 65 cents. Stock couldn't get above it once volume spiked in. That's when I said, guys, I think if we get a move through 65, we might get a trigger for a potential trend reversal pattern on the daily chart. Let's go out to the daily. The stock's gotten decimated, guys. Decimated. Okay? And you can see this very strong volume day, nice green candle. We possibly can get a trend reversal continuation candle tomorrow, and that's what I'm looking for. That's my game plan with CIE. I'm still holding on to a chunk of my position. But let's get back to the 15-minute. I want you guys to notice this setup because when you are trying to find the bottom of a stock, okay, and you're looking to try to catch a trend reversal, all right, look for a stock to gap above the previous day's close and hold above it. Sounds easy, right? But a little bit more complex than that. So let me take you to the chart. You can see CIE just getting completely beaten down. Okay, look at that, just getting completely beaten down. Then on Friday, stock has another, this is Thursday, stock has another really nasty sell-off day. But then on Monday, what does the stock do? It actually gaps up. This candle, it gapped up green. After a stock gaps up green, after it continuously sells off, the other stock is getting crushed and crushed and crushed for an extended period of time and is in a clear downtrend, which CIE was. Look for that day when a stock gaps up and then starts to hold support at the previous day's closing price. You can very clearly see on the 15-minute candle, after the stock gapped up, it started holding above this dotted line. Let me draw a little more solid line so you can see it a little bit easier. This solid line you see right here is Friday's closing price. You can see the stock holding above it. That is your sign, okay? When a stock gaps up and then all morning holds support at Friday's close, it's a good area to start buying the stock, looking for a trend reversal or at least an upside move in the afternoon. Maybe it's just a dead cat bounce. Maybe the stock doesn't continue higher for the next 2 or 3 days. Maybe it's not an all-out trend reversal, but you can at least catch it for a one-day move, possibly a trend reversal. That's why with this setup, I will usually always take some overnight, but also take some profits before the close. That's exactly what I did with the CIE. Okay, so after CIE popped up on my radar on this move right here with this volume coming in, let me delete all this and go back to a 3 minutes so you can see my trade a little bit more clear. Okay, so here's today. Here's your gap up. Here's a holding support. After the stock gapped up, popped up on my radar right here, guys, I'll go to a 5 minute. Okay, I started to see a little bit of a pennant pattern form in CIE. Okay, you see that little pennant consolidation right there off of this strong move. But it's really the fact that I started to see this pennant pattern develop below 65 cents. And 65 cents was a pivot point on this stock. As you can see, here's your support, here's your resistance, and then here's your resistance some more. I said, guys, I'm going to get long tier 1 inside this little wedge, and I'm going to add to tier 2 if the stock breaks through 65 and starts getting some volume. Let's go to the trade alerts. 2:14 p.m. Oh, sorry, that's tier 2. 1:36 p.m. long tier 1 CIE 6148. Okay, 6148. So here we are, getting long 6148. I added to my tier 2 position. right here. Let's go back. 2:14 p.m. Added tier 2, 6509. Okay, we started to get some volume coming in. The stock broke through 65. I added to my position at 6509 and looked for the stock to start to push. Stock did start to push. Okay, you see, ended up making new highs, ended up making a new high aftermarket as well of 73. But I went ahead and I took some profit at 685. So I sold my tier 1 at 685 for an 11.5% gain, and I'm still holding on to my tier 2. Okay, so here's my take profit on my tier 1. So I sold my tier 1 right here. And now I'm still holding my tier 2, guys. Why am I holding tier 2? Because I'm looking for that second day in that trend reversal. And also, what did the stock do after it broke through 65? It held support above 65. Okay, and then it started to push up into the close. We started to get some heavier volume start to come in. And on the daily chart, I'm looking for a nice continuation move to the upside. I'm looking for the stock to do that. This is what I want to see tomorrow, guys. Okay? This is exactly what I want to see the stock do tomorrow. And with the heavy volume that we saw today, I think that that's a very good possibility. Expect resistance at $1. Okay? Expect resistance at $1. But if this stock really gets crazy tomorrow, trust me, I'll be taking more profits, probably around 75 to 80 cents. If it gets up there, I'll be very happy with the trade. I already locked in 11.5% on my tier 1, and the majority of my position I'm still long. Okay, so great day today. 30% in gains on 2 trades. Correlation trade paid us beautifully, and we had a day trade in CIE that turned into a swing, and I'll update you guys on how that works out tomorrow. Okay, good luck for those that are following along in the trade, and congrats to everyone that profited today. See you guys tomorrow.